started TDI back in 1989 originally, and the reason that we started the school initially was that we had no place that was really effective to train. We didn't have any live fire houses. We didn't have anything as far as law enforcement was concerned, a good place to train. And consequently, I wound up purchasing the property and building this facility. And we decided to make it a commercial venture, and has done very well, and been a very popular school, fortunately. And we really enjoy what we do, and we've been doing this full-time now for about 8 years. We look at the stance and grip of the pistol, and the real basics that are important to your shooting platform. We don't care about the foot position most of the time. If you're in a gunfight, unless you have good cover, you should be moving, and that's an important issue. We actually did a study on moving and shooting and standing still and having people shoot at each other. It worked out extremely well. We found that movement was the thing that about 50% of the time you get hit less than if you're standing perfectly still. And so the feet have nothing to do with this. It's where your hips and where your shoulders are really pointed. We like what we would term a strong isosceles or an aggressive isosceles type position, where you are literally leaning into the gun a little bit, head forward being the most important thing, because it changes your entire body configuration. So if I'm going to get my pistol out, I'm going to use a good two-hand grip. We use a solid one-hand grip so that you can fire with one hand if that's appropriate. Obviously, two hands work a little bit better. Use a strong thumb forward grip that assists in locking the gun down, controlling recoil, not allowing the gun to get off of the target very far. You can't stop the recoil of the pistol, but you can control it. In other words, if I fire with one hand right now and this gun fires, it's going to recoil up and to the left. If I switch hands and I fire up into the with one hand, it's going to recoil up into the right. In other words, the firearm will take the path of least resistance. And if you get a good full hand grip on it, now the recoil will come straight up and straight down, as opposed to going to one side or the other. Keeping the finger way outside of the trigger is not an option, it's mandatory. Okay, this is not out of the trigger. This is a bozo no-no, and certainly wherever your individual hand size and your gun size may dictate exactly where that finger is going to go, but it must be somewhere up on the frame or up on the slide, whatever is comfortable for the shooter, just as long as it's not down here or certainly in the trigger. And when we do this, we work from what we term a chest-ready position. Some people call it a third eye. If you look at this from a rational standpoint, when I draw my firearm, we use one draw for everything. I go to draw my firearm, my hand comes in here. If I'm in an extreme close quarters position, it's going to be slightly different. But I'm going to get my hand in here. My hands are going to work in conjunction with one another. I'm going to draw. When I draw my pistol, it comes straight forward. That way, if I'm in a vehicle or if I'm sitting at a table in a restaurant or something like that, and I have to get this pistol out, I can clear the table, or I can clear the steering wheel of an automobile. So that makes it real nice and easy. So you're going to draw, rotate the gun, slide it right across the chest, acquire your good grip, simply press the gun forward, locking the arms and acquiring the sight picture. So then from here, I'm simply going to bring the gun straight back down. I'm learning to work this gun going both ways. And at this point, I can take a look around. I can see what's going on. I can check my 360 to make sure I don't have another problem coming. Then I can breathe. I can make sure that my gun stays towards my initial threat. It's not waving around and muzzling other people potentially that are in the area that don't need to be muzzled. Then I'm going to put the gun away. I'm simply going to make sure that my finger is way outside the trigger. I actually pick it up like this, place my thumb on the back of the slide, bring the gun right back down, and set it into the holster. And we're good to go. We believe in hand switching in some situations, not all situations. And if we're in a slow search, I like, if I'm coming up on a left-hand corner, I want to be able to switch to my other hand. I can maintain my my cover the best by doing that. I don't want to expose any more of myself than I absolutely have to, and consequently, switching hands is an important issue. The way that we do that is actually fairly simple. If we're going to do that, we relax the grip, simply pick the gun up, control it with these fingers, run it in. Then I'm going to wipe the gun into the hand to make sure that it's seated properly in that hand, that now if I had to shoot something, I've got a good one-hand shooting grip, and go from there. Again, this isn't something that we do in the middle of a gunfight, obviously, unless we're injured. This is something that we do as a well thought out thing in a slow search type situation. So all I'm going to do, again, I'm going to just release up, down, wipe it in, and then I reacquire my grip, ready to go. It makes it real easy, real simple. It can be done out here. You can wipe it in real easy, or it can be done in close. Doesn't matter. However, whatever your situation dictates. Okay, go to load your pistol. Good grip on your magazine. The bullet's pointing in the proper direction. Just roll the pistol over so that you can see in the base. Get it started. One push should get that in there. Good palm heel strike will seat that magazine so that it doesn't come out. Simply roll the gun over, finger outside the trigger, grab it by the serrations at the back, pull it all the way to the rear, and allow it to slam. Do not treat these things